Hey everybody, this is Free Gen X, aka John Ruggieri, for the nightly cryptocurrency dump. Of course, still mining away on Ethereum and Zcash, and wanted to bring you some more news from the SEGWIT scaling debate. What we have here is a talk that Andreas Antonopoulos gave on the 20th, so that's 5 days ago now. That's about 9:45 Eastern on the 25th as I make this video. But listen to how Andreas Antonopoulos frames this discussion. It's really a rules versus ruler discussion. So what SEGWIT tries to do, or what the claim is from the SEGWIT side, is what they try to do is set a new set of rules for scaling. And what the Bitcoin Unlimited folks are doing is really wanting the miners to be the rulers of the rules of scaling. So it gives 100% control to the mining community, which, by the way, is driven by profit and not necessarily the long-term future of Bitcoin. And it gives them all the control. It gives them like a consensus mechanism to say, at a whim, as long as they agree, how big the block size should be. So let's listen to Andreas here for a minute.
So just a question from the community as well. SEGWIT versus Bitcoin Unlimited. What's your opinion on it?
Okay, so this is the kind of really difficult question, but at the same time it's fairly easy. I'm in favor of activating SEGWIT. I'm in favor of activating SEGWIT now. The reason for that, and don't applaud, form your own damn opinion. I am no more the authority you should listen to than anyone else. This is not a system of belief where I said FC Barcelona and you go, yeah! Make up your own mind. I'll tell you why I think that's true. I think SEGWIT should be activated now because it solves a number of different problems. It's the best tested solution that exists. I also think that I will make a disclosure. I used to think that big blocks would be better.
Okay, there's a key point. Andreas has actually come full circle in this discussion over the years since he started evangelizing for Bitcoin, and he was for bigger blocks because as he arrived into the Bitcoin scene, we're at a point in the history of Bitcoin where we had gone from a quarter of a meg block to half a meg block to a full megabyte block. So there has been a history of seeing this stuff work. So let's listen a little bit further.
About 2 years ago. And I ran Classic and XT to evaluate them. I ran Bitcoin Unlimited too. Not because I thought that we should hard fork to those, but to evaluate the software and understand how it works. And if the choice was SEGWIT versus Classic, I might say, you know, a year from now we could also do a bump through Classic. The problem with Unlimited, in my opinion, is that it doesn't change the rules. It changes or sets the rulers who then get to change the rules.
So there's the key, and I think Andreas makes a really good point here. Do we really want to take a subset of the Bitcoin community and make them the rulers over the rules and allow them complete autonomy as a group in setting whatever block size they want? This is going to open up opportunities for manipulation in the market. Manipulation in the mining especially, where not everyone will people will be priced out of the market, forced out of the market based on hardware limitations, forced to go and cost new hardware to continue the support of the network they were doing. So let's listen some more.
And that is a very dangerous thing to do in Bitcoin, especially if it's done as a contentious hard fork. I think Bitcoin Unlimited is a completely untested system of consensus. If somebody wants to test that with 51%, it's going to be an interesting experiment.
Now, I don't know how honest the claim is that the consensus system of Bitcoin Unlimited is untested. I do believe there's been some testing. I don't obviously believe that as many people have looked at it as have looked at SEGWIT. But this is one of the things that happens on the two sides of this argument is people get polarized and they start to speak in absolutes. I wish you would be more intellectually honest and say that testing has occurred, but just not as much.
Bitcoin is going to get attacked eventually. Maybe it's better if it gets attacked sooner rather than later. If you hold Bitcoin as an investment, this will be painful. So hard forking Bitcoin with a low percentage and without very broad consensus will damage Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think this is FUD. You know, if you're a long-term investor, if you're a buy and hold investor of Bitcoin, if you believe in the future of Bitcoin, I agree. Even though Cliff High has no business after his last couple videos talking about the details of the technology of Bitcoin, I believe with his sentiment, I align more with his sentiment that this is a temporary problem. It's going to be a bump in the road. It's going to be a temporary thing. Prospector or trader, they're different than an investor. So if you're prospecting on Bitcoin or you're trading Bitcoin, obviously as this debate gets further along, it's going to be more of a roller coaster ride. That's both good and bad for traders. But let's not pretend that as an investor, Bitcoin is going to be seriously hurt by this debate. I don't think it will. It'll be a story that we tell, much like the story that Ethereum tells. Oops, the DAO was hacked. Oops, we had a hard fork. Oh well. We went on a number of months where it was devalued and people got to buy Ethereum for very cheap, and now it's back. So I think something similar would happen in Bitcoin. That's the worst case scenario. Even if Bitcoin Unlimited hard forked and then crashed everything, and we had to pick up where we left off on the original chain.
You will end up with two chains that will survive, and the sum of their value will be far less than the sum of value we have in Bitcoin today. I think that's a very bad idea. Not my choice. However, here's something I can tell you. Bitcoin is a currency as a means of exchange. The way I use it for getting paid for my job works at $200, at $2,000, and at $20. It doesn't change for me. Bitcoin as a stable store of value, however, doesn't work with a hard fork. So it really depends on what you use it for.
And we'll end on this. This is the heart of the debate. This is like Roger Vere's speech that he gives every single day to anyone that'll listen. I'm a user of Bitcoin every day. I buy and sell and pay people in Bitcoin every day, and therefore my opinion is the only one that matters. So there's some truth to be said for, as a long-term buy and hold investor, you know, you're fine in this situation. And truthfully, if you're doing day-to-day trading, why not use a tool like Shapeshift or an exchange and get a bucket of your value out of Bitcoin into Dash or another currency, and do your small high-speed transactions that way until this is sorted out. All of this is a temporary condition. So I stand by my advice to stay calm and not worry about the situation we're in. In any case, it's Saturday night, and this is the nightly cryptocurrency dump. Stay tuned to Free Gen X Radio here for more updates nightly and sometimes during the day. Thanks, everybody.